take the Orianna for themselves. We haven't seen a ton of it because it's been banned all the time, but with the Akali gone, that makes the Orianna pick even better. We might just end up seeing Orianna Azir trade, or ZDZ could take something like the Xiaohao could take the Xiaohao to deny it. Instead, though, not going to be either of those.
Just going to make you have a little bit of guess time. It is probably going to be a little bit of a scaling start for EDG as the Rise does end up coming through. And so looking for some stability around that mid lane now for them in the future. But LGD get a 1-2 punch here.
Yeah, and I think the 1-2 punch is going to be pretty scary. There's the Orianna. Could be Xiaohao. What else is up in the jungle? You could go the Nefiri yourself if you want to go that. I also think that, well, I was going to say you could pick the Orianna later because you don't need to pick mid here. But instead, LGD seem pretty happy to just lock away that mid jungle. I think either of these picks are good. No real reason to go for either. Or you could start the bot lane. I think that's a bad choice. I think pick jungle. If you pick Lucian, you have to go support and drop jungle. Or you have to pick jungle and drop support. I'm not too big of a fan of this.
They didn't listen. I actually really like the Xiaohao with the Orianna. Obviously a little counterintuitive with the knockback, but you can a lot of times set up with that, and it's really interesting. But that Xiaohao will end up going over to EDG, see what their 1-2 punch is going to be here before we get to the final parts of the first phase.
Again, I think I'm happier with EDG in their drafting. I said that in game 1. I'm saying it here in game 2. Not that I don't like Orianna and Lucian. I think that individually they are really, really strong. But you're going to have to either drop support or drop jungle here. And I think that either one you do, you don't feel great about it, especially if you're dropping support. If you end up dropping support, they ban away Nami and Milio. We're dropping both?
Go into game 3, brother. No,
so
a little early. York doesn't get locked in, though, for Burdol.
So, I think LGD should be able to get their jungler. I don't think that EDG are going to ban 2 junglers. Probably ban a Lucian, maybe a Milio away. Could ban both, but you're not banning 2 junglers. So LGD will be happy with whatever they get, whether it's a Nefiri, whether it's something else, like a Trundle, even though that doesn't really synergize very well. But LGD's comp, again, it feels very... like I don't really know what exactly is going on.
Abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an
abstract painting. They went on a tier list. You know, best mid on the patch, one of the best AD carries on the patch, counter into Jace. I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Not that these carries are bad at all, but I think they're really reliant on how your team fight is and the rest of your comp, which we haven't seen yet. Center ban. Shout out Leave.
That's a nice ban. Yeah, good shout out towards Leave, especially giving him some more supportive picks. Although, I will just say, personal note, I would love to see Leave on a hyper carry.
Okay.
But we do see the Skarner ban, so full focus from EDG on the jungle going into the second phase.
I was a bit surprised. I guess the idea is for EDG that they're going to get a good support no matter what, so you may as well just give them the choice, take a counter pick, ban away junglers instead. But I assume LGD will just pick Nami here. If they don't, I think EDG can go Corki Nami. That's really scary. So I assume it's just going to be Nami. All right, EDG, what's the round out of your draft here? We need something that can lane decently well. Milio, I know that we've been seeing a lot of Thresh, but I genuinely wouldn't mind seeing an Aphelios Milio in this comp.
Ooh, Aphelios Milio. Be an interesting one for sure. Obviously, a lot of strength of the extra range that you can have there. But we'll see if they want to go Enchanter v Enchanter. Aphelios is obviously one of the comforts for Leave. I know when he was kind of making his way, and Aphelios was still meta. It was always a classic pick. It's also his most played champion of his career. So going to be whipping that one out. A lot more games on the Aphelios than he does have on his next highest, which is Zeri. But it's going to be the support pick that we have to look through. And if it is the Milio, gives him a ton of peel back, a ton of options as well, and some of that sustain that you love.
All right, well, I'll +1 that to myself. We actually haven't seen this at all this year, to my knowledge. I think it was 2024, beginning of 2024, talk about that in a second. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Hold on. Beginning of 2024, when we were going the double support items, if you remember that, Lucian Nami, Aphelios Milio was very common trade. So it's good to see that back. But the Mal fight, saw it a lot in Demacia Cup, a lot in the beginning of this year, the beginning of Split 1. A combo with Orianna that was pretty scary.
Pretty damn scary. It's a ball delivery system, I'll tell you that right now. Wow. LGD, I've actually really appreciated some of their drafts. I didn't see it through the fog in the first one. I see it with this one. But I do go back to that same conversation. The stability that is there for EDG just feels so powerful.
The late game as well. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
You got a lot of range with the Jace, with the Aphelios, with Milio. And then you've got so much damage from the Ryze, the Aphelios, Milio. Xin Zhao with an Enchanter is really nice too. So LGD, I think they have a lot more stability with something like a Malphite Orianna to rely on, with a Lucian Nami to rely on, that you can actually team fight through the mid game and not rely on Tangyuan just kind of smurfing, which he did do, and you can rely on that. But I think that there is a world in that game one where LGD do not get the leads in lane as big as they did, that Leave doesn't make that crucial mistake at the end of the game, and the EDG take the game in stride. I feel like the drafting is a lot closer, a lot of scaling here, Mazel, but we'll have to see.
We will have to see. We're getting into game 2 now. Can LGD finish it here, or does EDG find some resurgence? Here we go.
Shaoye. Yeah, that was
It's
tough.
there somewhere, maybe.
I
Who
will
knows?
say, enemy Lucian already procced first strike for about 10 gold.
GG.
Game's unplayable. Sorry.
Yeah. LGD win the series 2-0, and we'll move onwards.
Bone plating Ophelia. So we're really scared of the all-in potential from LGD. Obviously, the Malphite and the Orianna, it's part of it, but really wanting to use that extra resistances, or the extra damage, immunity, reduction, I should say. Not immunity. To help get through those all-ins. The good news about this lane is that Lucian Nami is really bad level 1. So Aphelios Milio, even though Aphelios is like the worst level 1 support in the game, he's got at that range. Doesn't have an ability, but he's got the range, so he can bully the first 3 levels. On the bounce back is where we should see Lucian Nami start to find agency, find themselves in the lane. Pretty typical of a Lucian lane, pretty typical of a Nami lane as well. So can LGD do anything on that bounce? The jungler for LGD, Heng, is pathing up. So that means that on the bounce, there's no potential for a dive. On the other side, though, Xiaohao pathing down means that when the wave bounces back towards EDG and LGD are at a vulnerable position, there'll be a Xin Zhao around the corner.
Yeah, and it's going to be super important to kind of keep eyes on. I'm really curious at how the Malphite does by itself, right? Not something we're seeing played very often in Tier 1. There is some play around, but obviously the last time we saw it at the highest Tier 1 level was with LCS, as well as LRN a little bit there. Earlier in the month, Blabber played it for C9, but very curious now to see what kind of activity Heng is willing to go for, especially with some of the unique pathing that can be possible, but how much he brings to the team fights later on is going to be super important to kind of keep tabs on here. It is going to be a pretty quiet early game, unlike the one we had last time. Xiaohao will probably be pretty happy about that one as both junglers come to their full clears, get their scuttle crabs, and we'll see if any finickiness wants to come out here after these, or if it'll just be hard resets for both.
It hasn't even been a bounce back. I think that LGD took too much HP on the first few waves, so now they're stuck under their tower. They're going to get denied this big wave, maybe even the next one as well. And the Ryze, like Angel, had already rotated down. This is a really bad start from LGD. Just in the lane, you don't even really lose anything in mid. Angel lose a couple of CS because Tangyuan has TP. Angel doesn't. But that's one big wave you've lost. This is now multiple plates you're losing if this one goes over. Does he get the gold? He did get the gold. Nice.
Wow,
solo plate.
That's a lot
and
of early money, man.
I think that cannon is going to get denied as well. We don't exactly get to see, but either way, Xiaohao in top lane will force out the flash from Burdol. This is going pretty well for EDG.
So far, LGD have been on the back foot. They had to back away from the turret bot side. They had to use the defensive flashing on the top side. There's flash advantage now for ZDZ as well. Definitely feeling a little bit recouped from that game number 1. Just had to wipe the slate clean, come back into things here. There's going to be some mobility now provided by Shaoye as he's looking for a bit of a roam on the Melio. And I think that's something else we really need to keep an eye on. Yes, first Dragon's coming up in 40 seconds, but the mobility between lanes that EDG has and how they use it will be super important.
And just take a look at the item discrepancy in bot lane right now. Cull refillable for Xiaoye, and then Cull 2 long swords for Leave. So a lot more just raw AD right now. Again, Lucian Army level 3 onwards. Still very scary until Leave can get his guns in a playable order, that is, and it'll be a little bit. So at least Shaoye in this bot lane can feel not so pressed against the back of his tower.
True.
But it is very important to mention, like you did, the roaming of this EDG team, especially the Rise. Like, what can Angel do? How can he impact the map with this Realm Warp? Dragon we started up should be pretty free. This is basically exactly how Game 1 started for EDG, except no massive lane lead so far for LGD.
And we're going to see them use some of that prow they had to go ahead and help take this Dragon. So that'll be a nice early Dragon for EDG. They had done a great job in game number 1 of stacking those up, but faltered at the last. A little fun note. That's that we're actually going to get the special effects for the Lucian and Nami since they're playing the super expensive duo skin, which I don't think I've actually seen.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Is it recent?
Yeah, it's kind of recent. I feel like it's been like a couple months maybe. But they're like 2 ultimate skins, and when you play them together, like their effects get changed a little bit. It's kind of cool. But we'll see.
I didn't know that.
That's just a little aside. We will now see a little bit of an invade path actually coming through from Heng. He does have level 6. He is ready to engage the unstoppable force. He's locked and loaded. ZDZ is going to get caught. Is this the moment? They're waiting. They're hold till they see the white of their eyes. And ZDZ, he's not blinking. He's going to be fine there. Heng will actually back away. Burdol takes a brunt of damage and loses the maiden.
Yeah, spotted a bit too early. And ZDZ had fight. I think Burdol was trying to get flash out from ZDZ with that cage, because otherwise it's a little bit random to use before the dive is ready. And because ZDZ holds his flash, Heng doesn't feel confident enough to try to predict it. Dive tower, as well as Xiaohao was coming down the lane to kind of shadow the dive cover for it. So really well played from EDG, mechanically by ZDZ, and in the macro sense by Xiaohao just being aware that the dive could come. Wei was pushing in, and Jace can be pretty easy to dive at times. Xiaohao is on vision this entire time as he was clear.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I guess LGD... Vision. Yeah, they didn't get anything in the dive, but they have so much vision.
It's not something that's going to be sweeped out of, so they'll at least have the information where Xiaohao is going next. We will have the grubs coming up in about 40 seconds, and that was something that LGD really, really hard focused on in game number 1 was topside neutral objectives. They got 100% there, even the Baron. So see if they kind of continue that trend going in game 2.
I think Yorick with grubs is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure.
I mean, last game there was an Akali as well, and the Caitlyn. But this game, I feel like Yorick on his own is just enough to say, we really, really want to go for grubs. Something that I guess I've kind of missed was, I might hold this thought, maybe an invade coming through. Heng kind of poking and prodding. Angel can join very quickly, but Shockwave.
Tangyuan going for the solo again on the Angel, who's going to pop the ghost and yeet himself out of there. Blue buff did go to Heng. Yeah,
nice roam from YCX. And Tangyuan uses the ult aggressively to stop Angel from using his Realm Warp in. Doesn't get a cancel, obviously, but does chunk him out. And Tangyuan again with a pretty decent lead. Doing really well in the lane. I was going to say, I'm a little disappointed we don't have... Like, I really liked when teams would just 5v5 at grubs at 8 minutes for no reason. Dude, everyone would rotate in, but now quests are too important.
No. I just want more fights, man. But, hey, you get a little bit of the downtime, which gives players more agency to make decisions. We will end up seeing An aggressive advance in bonsai by LGD, but the Grubbies, they're going to EDG this time around. No focus up that way from Heng, but he is bot lane.
So this could be two things. The reason this is happening is I might hold my thought. Burdol is around. No shockwave from Tangyuan, so should just be the 3 going over to Xiaohao. I think there might be a dive around this corner, Mazel.
Just tidal wave gonna go forward.
It's a bit awkward.
There. Oh God. LGD hit the emergency exit button. Things have not gone well. Honestly, it's kind of sad because it feels like LGD have not been able to do anything this game. They had the gank top, not exactly pan out. Now gank bot, and they're slowly just losing all the objectives on the map.
So what I think happens here is LGD are predicting that there's going to be a dive. They're saying, well, EDG are going to think that we go to grub, so they're going to send their jungler down. We need to cover for that. So Heng comes to cover. But when there's no jungler, and they realize that Xiaohao is on grubs, there's Realm Warp's coming.
I mean, they just stopped the back there in the bot side, so no help was even going to be close. Luckily, Burdol does give it Danger Instincts a check and does end up making it out. We'll lose a decent amount of pressure in that top side, though, as there's a little bit of push coming in from LGD in mid lane, but still a lot of this advantage, at least in terms of the lanes. So far, feeling pretty good for EDG.
Yeah, because I really don't love ganking Malphite with down bot on an affiliate that has flash when you could be getting grubs with the Yorick. So I think had to have been some kind of prediction that Xiaohao was going to be there, and then when he wasn't, they felt pressured into going for a dive, and it obviously didn't work out. Grubs go over to EDG, and Burdol kind of rolled reversed, got this counter pick, and is really not looking comfortable in this lane. Second dragon is spawned. Xiaohao clearing down to the bot side. Again, there's pretty good vision around this objective, so EDG will be on vision the whole time. There is a few sweepers up, and they'll start to clear out some of this vision. And the ward up the top there, as you can see, the Xiaohao is. But YCX, what are you doing?
You just underestimated lead damage as the flash does end up coming through. That is a tough place to be, and ahead of this dragon, a worse place to be.
It's also really well played from Leave to not flash there. He knows that it's more important for the fight that he has it against a Malphite, and the kill on YCX doesn't really do a whole lot, so Leave still has flash, but now taking a lot of HP.
First items are important here, Jbetto, though. Just a little heads up, and we have 2 first items completed here. Xiaohao goes in, tidal wave comes through, he flashes away, but the unstoppable force comes nonetheless. It's still hung very low, flashes away, but gets dashed on with the audacious charge of Xiaohao, and Leave is throwing chakrams left and right. EDG end up taking the early fight here, and YCX will be turned into sushi. It's Angel that ends up getting the kill. Oh my god! Tangyuan just absolutely obliterates Leave, who stands a little bit too close to the edge and falls off.
Okay, well, Tangyuan is completely holding his team in this series. In Game 1, he did a lot. Game 2, he's the only player who really has any agency in this early game. Again, really well played by EDG. You're absolutely right. 2 items completed, the Serpent's Fang and the... Hold on.
Okay. Almost going for another one.
What's it called? What's the item called? So I don't know what item Malphite's bought, Mazel. I'm not good with new items.
Oh, sorry. The protoplasm harness. Sorry, I realized you were at... Yeah.
So 2 items were bought, but just the raw base damage, the team fighting from EDG, really well played. But Tangyuan does so much. Leave is up top.
He is. They're going to take the Maiden down. That's pretty big. And they have a push here. They could get some plates. They could potentially get the turret. They're going to bring Xiaohao too. They're setting the tempo of this game so far.
We don't really see this a whole lot, Mazel, with the role quest. I was talking about that before, but pretty early on. I mean, LGD taking the dragon, EDG feel like they're not in a position to take that themselves. They, make it 1-for-1. They're still going as well.
And they have so much push prio here, and nobody's really coming to respond because Dragon is being taken by Heng. And really no real...
Very slowly.
Another plate's going to come over. Shaoye is doing little damage to the turret on bot side. Dragon doesn't going over. Burdol might just die outright under turret. Does have the tidal wave coming through for the heal from YCX. Does end up catching his wave. little Calibrum damage will come through from Burdol, not much else. Backs are going to start being initiated. LGD do hold the line for the moment. Xiaoye is going to get some decent gold on the bottom side with a turret taken there as well. Something we didn't talk about, the item completions a little bit more in depth, was the Serpent's Fang, first item for Xiaoye, trying to take away some of the shielding that EDG is going to be rocking.
It is a Chemtech soul as well, and with only one dragon, if EDG can get any more, the extra heal and shield power from those, oofed. But really smart macro from EDG. We seldom see plays like that anymore, where you say, even before my quest is done, let's just swap up to top, push down for as much tower as we can get, and because it's a Malphite, the dragon takes so long to do. Xiaoye on the bot lane takes so long to get that turret, and you need Tangyuan and ICX to come up and bail out Burdol, who's been, this time, having a really rough time in this top lane.
Yeah, about a 1.3k lead in the top lane individual game. On the bot side, though, Xiaoye does a little bit of an advantage over lead so far. We are going to see the lane assignment still kind of stay true here, although I'll say Burdol is kind of running around right now trying to figure out where his home is, as he does need to go answer the Jays, so I do expect LGD to reassign some of these lanes. Rift Herald's coming up in about 5 seconds. Looks like Heng wants to stick around. All ultis available. How does LGD finally put together a decent fight?
Well, I think that a crucial part of this, Mazel, is how cheap the items that Shaoye has bought. Serpent's Fang RFC, he's built 2 items so early on. I mean, he does have a gold lead, sure. But this build is not going to scale that well, so you're trading off late game for a really strong mid-game early spike, and it's working, right? You get the Herald, you chunk out Leave here, maybe can get some mid plates, but when this it comes late game, if the game goes really late, you've got a Serpent's Fang and an RFC. So your extended skirmishing isn't great because you don't have Navori. You don't have IE right now, and then you either go IE or LDR next, so you're without the other one. I'm assuming it's going to be Infinity Edge. That makes the most sense. There's not a ton of tanks, but then the base stats will come through for especially Xin Zhao, who has a Millie on the other side, so maybe you want some anti-heal. I think that this build path is like a benefit now, but a trade-off of a bit awkward in the later stages.
Yeah, a little bit of a utility Lucian build. It's the first Lucian for Xiaoye in 2026. Trying to cook up a little bit of an interesting build here. Try to be impactful while maybe not providing as much damage. Still will provide some decent damage, especially with the combos with the Nami. But as that stacking comes online later on in the game, EDG is going to be sitting pretty there. All role quests about to be completed, as we will have Angel finishing here very shortly. You know, it's taking him a long while. And it's pretty quiet on the Rift now, but in about 1:40, we will have that next dragon. And luckily this time it's been a very contested effort around the dragons, whereas last time EDG had kind of full frontal control over that side of the objectives. But LGD realizing that, you know, we can't let them continue stacking things up as a scaling comp like this.
So some individual leads, again, pretty good for LGD, the Lucian like we've been talking about, but also Tangyuan, just kind of mid-diff throughout this series so far. The one silver lining, though, for EDG is Yorick, who's down nearly 2,000 gold, and it's a Yorick, right? It's not like he's playing Ambessa like ZDZ was last game, where at least he can press R. This champion does nothing in the team fights. The only time we really see Yorick do anything in team fights is when you can generate a big lead and then have enough damage to just 1v1 someone. Dash forward for the lead.
This was picked into the Jace. Again, we've seen 2 picks that were specifically picked into their matchup do not great, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that is not a fun trend. I also, I have no idea what Leave is building either. I haven't seen Phantom Dancer on Aphelios in years. Both their ADCs are completely cooking up builds right now.
Bro, they're cooking.
I don't know which I favor.
They're in the chef. They heard Master Chef is coming back around, and they needed to make sure they're cooking, bro. That's just the long and the short of it. Hey, he is the Aphelios aficionado, so we'll kind of leave that with him. Thank you, ZDZ, for continuing to build a normal.
From Tangyuan, 2 items finished.
This is going to be set up for the fight here.
5 seconds on this dragon. I think the Shockwave can absolutely tear through EDG here. Burdol.
This is the minions. It doesn't matter. He still gets a good amount of damage. Cullen's going to be used there, though, so that's a decent amount used by LGD trying to catch him out, and that's a lot of damage, at least, that Shaoye will be missing. As EDG are still surrounding here, trying to group up around this tri-bush. Dragon is started now, though.
Yeah, it's tough to walk in against an Orianna Malphite. At any moment, they can pull the trigger.
Angel waiting in the wings, does have Realm Warp available to him.
Burdol misses the minions yet again. 2.5k on this Dragon.
Oh, they go into the fight now. Xiaohao gets hit by the Unstoppable Bolt. There's the Orianna Shockwave 2. The Dragon goes over to LGD now. It's going to be Heng escaping with an inch of his life, and it's just Xiaohao that died. If LGD get out of this, they are perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, really easy secure from LGD. EDG kind of rock up. They gambled everything on the flip, and when it didn't work, the Malphite Orianna combo, really easy to execute when you're that close. Pretty easy to execute on nonetheless, but... hang on.
Onto Burdol, they're trying to punish him, but he is pretty decently strong.
I don't know about this.
Tangyuan at his back. Tangyuan trying to go for another one. It gets ZDZ down. It gets the kill on him too. That's so massive. An almost 2k lead for Tangyuan.
This is one of the biggest 1v9 performances I've seen in a long time. Tangyuan, less so last game, although he did still really perform. More so this game, is completely carrying the entire game. Take a look back at this Dragon fight. Xiaohao flips the entire fight here by going for this smite fight just too late. The Shockwave combo. Pretty easy to hit. What would this... I know that people like the LCS guys have been chatting about the Knockwave. What's Malphite Orianna combo? Shock Force? Unstoppable Shockwave?
Unstoppa Force. Unstoppa Wave. Unstoppa Wave.
I like Unstoppa Wave.
Yeah, that works.
We're gonna have to, you know, reconvene, rain check this one.
It could be Shock Force. That's kind of
Shock
cool.
Force is pretty tough.
But then it's kind of back and forth. Yeah. Well, we'll work on it. My people will get with your people, and then our people will get with community people.
Shout out Melvin. Rockwave
would be good. That'd be good. That one would be really good. We can.
I like it.
You know.
Important conversations had on the LPL English, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you come watch us for.
We're deciding the future of what abilities are called in this game, all right? So about a 1,000 gold lead now developed by LGD, even with the top lane having gone so badly for Burdol. He's just the side lane king at this point. He's just rocking it. He's not doing well, but if he can stay alive and provide pressure every now and then, it really gives some breathing room to LGD. And for EDG, where are you battening down the hatches here, Jbetto? What are you doing to establish your presence in this game?
I mean, I talk a lot about the Rise spike as CDZ is dead. I think you can just dive.
Oh. He's very squishy.
Why did Shaoye cancel his base?
Didn't even get the hammer slam, and Heng is going to walk straight into Shaoye, who does flash away from the bubble, so he'll be fine. All
right. I think Shaoye's a little lucky that he managed to live there. I think he stepped out of the bush too, as Culling will take a lot of his health.
It's going to be the heal and the flash burn now by Shaoye, and top lane turret's going to fall to LGD. All of a sudden, you look at it, LGD have a stable lead.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, we were talking about the late game from EDG. The spot for Rise that I talk about quite frequently is level 16, so you've got the third point in ult. You have Roa, Seraph's finished, and you have Actualizer. Unfortunately, we're quite a while away from most of those things. 2 minutes on the Roa, but 3 levels away after Roa, it'll be 2. And then a full Actualizer before I feel Rise is really, really in a great spot. And then for Aphelios, I mean, an Infinity Edge minimum, but I would love LDR, you know, full 100% crit. And then maybe you're feeling confident after that. But that's a long time we're talking about that LGD. We know what they do when they get a gold lead. We've seen it in this series. They do not let off the gas pedal.
They do not, and they have a comp that can keep it going too. I also got to establish that Burdol's coming back, baby. We talked about the kind of counter pick there. How does that work in the side lane if it is at an even state and ZDZ isn't 2,000 gold up like he was just a few moments ago?
I think that it's not as bad as it can be in the early stages because Jace has more of the innate protections from the ult and some items to kill the minions, but he just can't get out of the cage. It's very difficult for him to dodge the little rats as well. So if Burdol can find a nice cage, look for it all in, and the melee damage is really, really nice. But Obviously, ZDZ blind picking this means that it's not too bad. You know, it is playable, especially at this point in the game like I was talking about. So I think when Burdol get, like, here's 2 items, level 16. So again, max level ult. If you can cage anybody, so much mobility on the side of EDG, you kind of are a cage spot, but that's not a bad thing in this game.
Yeah, and especially if it just provides the utility that you need to lock him down. I mean, it's going to be looking like a Venn diagram out there if you do have the cage out with the
circles,
with the shockwave, a lot of circles. That's no circle, that's a
Ouch.
line, and that's a lot of bullets going to the back of Xiaohao. I don't know how he just walked away from that one, but he is fine for now. The Dragon, though, not going to be very fine as LGD look to go to Soul Point now, Jbetto.
Yeah, I think LGD could make the safe play, but I'm kind of sniffing a Baron Mazel. After that chunk, maybe not on this timer, but LGD are very aware of the fact that with Lucian Nami, they have permanent mid-prio. Tangyuan is never at threat in the side lane because of how much EDG has to cover the mid lane. Now with the Infinity Edge as well, this is kind of where the Lucian build will start falling off. Like, any more items leave will outscale. But this is a really, really strong Lucian. The lethality is still nice at this point in the game. The anti-shielding is still nice as well. The RFC means he can make those chunks. Like, it's, again, less of a consistent fight, more of a one-shot chunk kind of build. And the Infinity Edge just wraps that up really nicely. So Leave has his Infinity Edge. So there's some of our checklists for EDG finding some good spots.
Yeah.
But until the late game really comes through, I think EDG are just biding their time. And unfortunately, they can't do that for much longer because in 4 minutes, there's a Chemtech sold.
And if we have them up, just to give a little bit of perspective here, because we talked so much about the how short this season can be, I would love to bring up LGD's next opponents, if at all possible, Ilya, if we do have those ready to go. If not, no big deal. But it's really interesting how important this series could be in the longevity of Group Nirvana, especially because both these teams are looking pretty positive in a lot of ways. As, now Xiaohao and them kick it off anyways. They do end up getting the kill there straight onto Shaoye, and that's a decent amount of gold gone as well. It is the setup now, though, that LGD have to kind of rebuttal, as they will have the Rock Wave, as Melvin had called it, ready to go. But it is a lot of members that they'd have to chunk through here. It looks like dust is going to settle a little bit, and we'll go back to races. But if we want to bring back up the conversation here, LGD do end up having, you know, some interesting points to move forward here as well.
I think very favored next matchup against Ultra Prime. LNG looked really good beginning of Split 1 throughout into playoffs, and haven't really hit the ground running. Again, it's one series. It's really hard to truly, you know, give opinions and form opinions about teams when we are going to see in entirety so little of them, especially when we've seen basically nothing. But all important matches, you do not want to be relegated for the rest of the year.
Do not.
LGD,
trust me,
looking pretty confident. Again, their early games, not the best, but Tangyuan is so solid in this mid lane. 3 items now as well.
Yeah.
All that kill really did, a little bit of gold, sure, but it just bought EDG time, and that's what they need right now. So Angel is, what, 1 wave away from level 16. That's the timer I was talking about. Has Seraph and Roa finished, waiting on Actualizer. Leave 3 items in. We saw how much damage he can do when put in front of Shaoye. TP in from Orianna. I think the EDG are doing a really good job. Oh, hold on.
Ooh, decent chunks there. I mean, Dragon not for another 2 minutes, but all 5 members of LGD surrounding Baron. They could force the issue.
Oh.
They're going to. I kind of like this here, Jbetto.
We just kind of have to give. I mean, EDG, they feel pressured into going for it, but how do you walk in?
Xiaoye is just standing tall here, doing poke damage. Now that he has the IE, he does decent damage. Oh, it's looking now like a 50-50. They lost control. They're going to kind of back off. YCX taking a massive hit from this one. It's going to be the play straight on to Angel. He's tanky, though. Shaoye is getting blasted. Heng maybe didn't want to go fully for that play, as now Burdol is running down Xiaohao by himself. Such a split fight, but a beautiful Moonlight Vigil does end up getting a little bit of damage. Here comes the Realm Warp to try to clean things up. Shaoye is going to instantly flash over, try to get away from this play, but gets Hammer Slammed anyways. And EDG have picked apart the plan of LGD, who find themselves on the wrong side of the map right now. And the Gravitum will ensure that Burdol goes down to a double kill for Angel.
LGD was so scared of flipping that, but instead of looking for the fight, baiting EDG in. They back off, and then the Orianna Malphite combo goes onto Angel. Like you said, he's so tanky. Has that, you know, the magic protection boots, so big shield comes through from only magic damage that's hitting him, the Seraph shield as well. And EDG, again, you close your eyes and the game flips.
Bro has 3,000 health almost.
Why are we shockwave comboing him?
Why we go with him? It wasn't even
a shockwave.
The shockwave. Yeah.
Where was it used? I didn't even see where. Oh, it was used on the, of course, on the Redemption. I remember that. But yeah, LGD way too fast on the trigger pull. Back at live, we're around the dragon. A lot of summoner spells use Mazel, but crucially, Leave has both.
All right, well, we're getting set up. EDG did pull the dragon out here. Heng with a smite win. Could end up getting the soul. He's going to go with the unsolved force. They have the combo straight onto each other. And Shaoye just blasts the damage. And that's huge here. Xiaohao still in the pit, though. It's Tangyuan who got the dragon. And now they have soul. They can go for these fights, but they could also just back off. They got the prize they wanted. And LGD strike again.
Yeah, and now LGD on the chase. Leave does a lot of damage, though, so LGD needs to be pretty careful. But they're zoning in, hunting them in the water.
It's like a bunch of sharks here as Lee's stepping up. He does have the Calibrum. Chakram's doing some work here. They're still in a very anxious place, though. It is so terrifying to be kind of corralled into the alcove now.
Leaf has bad guns.
EDG standing strong. He's trying to stand tall here. He's trying to make the difference. Bubble does connect, and they're going straight for ZDZ or Leave. They can't decide, but the Shockwave came back up. It came back up, Jbetto, and they get the kill because of it.
Yeah, they find blood in the water. These sharks do, Mazel, and not only do they wait out Leaves good guns, but they wait up until the Shockwave comes back off cooldown. 2 massive Shockwaves in one fight to dictate this game.
It's already almost halfway off cooldown again.
This champion is balanced, all right? I don't want to hear anything. She's balanced, all right? But LGD not only win the fight, but they got the Chemtech Soul. As soon as that came through, the Malphite so much harder to take down. I mean, Angel's got the spike I was talking about. Leaves working on this LDR. So, like, the late game is coming through, sure, but again, the Rock Wave, it just works.
The layering of the damage there and the fact that the rest of EDG couldn't really follow up is so impressive. And there's just some magic about LGD today. I don't know what it is, but their execution, their clutch moments are huge. And this is so calculated. It's just watching them waiting for the Shockwave to come up.
I have to say, like, the fact that Leave can hold all, like, 5 members of LGD at bay with good guns is ridiculous. And it is unfortunate that his guns swap the second that the Shockwave comes off cooldown. As soon as they go off, you see Heng walks forward, Shockwave on top. LGD knew exactly what they were waiting for, those 2 important timers, but I think Leave does show, like, I do a lot of damage. If I have good guns, I can fight all of you and keep you at arm's bay with the extra Calibrum range, do a lot of work. Yes, 4 items now. The game's not over. I mean, Chemtech Soul is pretty scary, but it's not the most impactful game-changing soul in the game. But I think EDG need to be a bit afraid. Angel's around the corner.
He does have a flank. DDZ's going for the side lane turret. He'll easily pick up that side lane gold, but the mid lane tier 2 will end up falling. They haven't taken a single turret in the mid lane for EDG. Tangyuan is having a hell of a day here. And looking to continue that on this Orianna 4-0 and 5, and just having the number of EDG. Serpent's Fang did just get completed for ZDZ as he did back. It will be another turret going the way of LGD. So still about a 2,000 gold lead here, but we do have some serious timers to think about in a little bit of time. Elder Dragon in sub 3 minutes, and the Baron up in about 1:40.
One of the problems that EDG are finding here is that they can't reliably walk in late at all, because they're against a Malphite who's very tanky, against a Yoroku and Keiji, but mostly it's the other 3. Orianna Ball, Culling, and any of Nami's, like the Bubble or Tidal Wave. Any of that If you walk in blind, you're just dead instantly. And there's no tanks at all, no true tank. The only person who has to face check is Xiaohao. And it's pretty easy to force his ult if he has to do that. So
Yeah.
LGD are just holding priority around the map, and EDG are really struggling to get in.
And a little special shout, like, Xiaoye's build was weird. It was very utility-based early on, just kind of wanted to make sure he could get some damage off. Now that he has IE and the LDR, like, he does a decent amount of damage, especially with that culling. That's something to really kind of keep in mind as we move forward here. Yes, I think the Aphelios obviously is going to be feeling a lot better in that regard, but Shaoye ain't no slouch. Pretty much gold leads across the board for LGD, except in that top lane, which had been a little bit tough to start the game. But it is going to be EDG that move in, get a little bit of invade off with ZDZ. I like where they're trying to just funnel some resources in before any fights can kick off. But the redeploy is coming out now. They have to back off. The vision is deep for LGD, and Baron's coming up.
Yeah, Leaf has perfect guns, so he'll have blue-red, then red-white, then green-white, and he has to hold that for Baron and for Elder. So if he can do that, he's in a great position and won't run out at an awful time. Nice damage there on the Shaoye, yeah. But Heng, look at how he's itemized. Okay, you know, the Zeeks for the ult, ability haste, the healing, and then it's Frozen Heart and Randuin's. You see how scared EDG is to walk in? Now they'll see it on the blue trinket. But Baron's burning fast.
Hey, last time around, though, this was where LGD dropped the bag, and it looks like they might get a little bit finicky this time, too. They are scared. They are terrified now. Xiaohao's in the pit. Xiaohao gets the Baron. LGD going to try to fight after, though, and they are losing a couple bodies here, losing a couple members. It's going to be the play onto Shaoye. Angel finds one, and his scaling is truly online. There's the Moonlight Vigil from the perfect guns of Leave. Calibrum, not going to be enough damage, but they got the Baron. They got all 5 of them out, and EDG flipped this game on its head.
Elder in 10 seconds too. So another massive flip.
Dude, why are they doing that?
Yeah, again,
That's two times that they've like tossed the game by trying to do Baron.
And the Malphite Orianna combo doesn't really look that confident. Like, when EDG can surround LGD, and not everyone is getting hit by the combo, the frontline members are tanky enough. I really think that LGD could have played way slower, bought out blue trinkets, got wards out, because you shouldn't be allowed to walk in. Like, why are you ever getting into a position where you need to flip? I don't understand. But, I mean, the steal is really good from Xiaohao. 105, way too early from Heng. And then Angel on this left side, he just flashes in with the actualizer, kills Shaoye here, and just zones away all of the damage, all of that, you know, 3-part threat we were talking about. I really think LG need to hold more space. They need to hold these brushes, make it actually hard for EDG to walk in instead of just starting Baron up.
But it's too late now. You've completely given over the advantage to a extremely scaled comp at this point. 4 items deep for a majority of members, working on 5ths. And now they have the Elder, they have the Baron, they have the Siege. They can't quite end the game just yet, but it's getting close.
Oh, it is getting close. I mean, 4 items Rise, 4 items Aphelios with Elder and Baron. I don't think that they can repel this for much longer. There's going to need to be a miracle Shockwave combo. This Lucian has become completely outscaled. There's the Shockwave. The combo is done. I don't think LGD have any more gas in the tank.
No, that's going to be tough. Tried to get the catch out, but it's not nearly enough damage now. With Emilio there, it's just too damn much. Shaoye tries to dash forward, try to get some kills, try to get some damage down at least. The minion wave has hit its precipice here. A couple of cannons. Moonlight Vigil goes wide a little bit there. Shockwave still about halfway off cooldown. Unstoppable Force is there and available if they want to try to collapse. Dicey engaged though, as that Elder Dragon will really make the difference here, and they just continue to fight. Xiaohao goes in with the Crescent Guard, does block a good amount of damage and get the Tidal Wave out, but they will back away now.
Yeah, Leave guns, not great. Purple, blue, can't really do a ton. And no flash as well on Leave means that even though the Shockwave isn't there, it just came back off cooldown ridiculously. So the first one didn't really find success, but that combo is always scary. It is kind of insane to me that EDG can get Baron and Elder and still not be able to end the game. They did just try to brute force it through mid. Maybe you could have tried to go through the side lanes a little more, but they've completely blown up this gold lead for themselves, which is it's still completely real. ADCs, you know, getting 7 full slots or 6 items plus boots, so a lot of that gold still feels real. And 40 minutes in, that's pretty crazy. I will say, LGD are a bit lucky that Leave doesn't have Gathering Storm this game. I assume Angel does, but because he went the bone plating, like the resolve second, because he'd be so much stronger if he did.
It still seems like it might not matter. A couple big catches from LGD could make the difference here, but the buffs are gone from EDG, so we're at a semi-even playing field, but the gold lead has mirrored, and that's always terrifying, because that means it's been like a 6k gold swap coming over for EDG, and that momentum can carry you a long, long ways. But do you think we're going to another round of Baron v Elder?
Definitely. I think it's on LGD to play their setup better. They still are very scary.
Don't start
when you have to walk into don't hold space. Like, set up vision, push these lanes in if you have the pride, if you have the ability to. Because if you get into a situation where EDG can wrap completely around you, and Angel by himself can zone away Xiaoye, YCX, and Tangyuan and solo kill Xiaoye. I know the Rise scaling is really scary, but that's a game execution error. You need to be holding space, denying vision, forcing out the wards. There's only 2 blue trinkets. There's only so many times they can check before somebody has to walk in and tank a shockwave to the face. Minute and a half, Mazel. No flash on leave, and that'll remain for this Baron. So that's still a pressure point the LGD can find, but massive item spikes have been completed.
Xiaohao was feeling like he wanted to find
an engage cone.
The engage cone. Hey, it works sometimes. You can see LGD very hesitant to be a little bit too far out. I think Tangyuan is going to have a lot of trouble finding those one-shots now unless they can layer kind of everything else on top of it. Like we have seen a couple times so far.
Yeah, it is possible. But LGD are so far outscaled. This Yorick is so useless.
We're
can
so
never really
destined
push
to
too
go
far
to
up.
3. We knew it. It's group Nirvana. Both these teams have already played one series, and they both went all the way to 3 games.
I just want to say, if we don't go to 3, clip this, pin it on your Twitter, because you're asking to be cursed here.
I'm here for it. The thing is the LPL always delivers.
In one way or the other, and sometimes it has to be at the fault of the casters.
Sometimes. We are now going to see the redeploy for a final push coming through here. One of these teams is going to get the Elder and the Baron. Baron is the first target for EDG. I gotta say, LGD is extremely late on this play. The only thing Heng can do is try to get in there and steal it away, but he doesn't even do that. Shockwave, or Shock Blast rather, is going to go a little bit wide from ZVZ. And LGD just kind of gave over the Baron, maybe to just preempt for the Elder Dragon, I guess.
So again, EDG have to walk in blind. If we get Baron Elder trade, this game might go 50 minutes long. Which only continues to favor EDG.
Longest
but
game of the split is 47-43 right now, so you know we're getting a little close.
It depends on how EDG want to play this. If they fight to the death and either lose or win, but if they choose to give, we could see a handshake.
They just let EDG fully walk in through the tri-bush, and now it's just going to be 50-50 on the pressure in front of the Dragon Pit.
He can ult in, obviously. And this is turning into a good flank, but he's spotted on the ward.
Ooh, big culling. ZDZ backed out a little bit. Some damage coming on to Shaoye, but he will get healed up. You have the flank coming through, though. There's the Realm Walk going to be initiated. It's on the other side. Burdol tries to go onto Angel, but Angel's by himself. Elder Dragon is about half health now. Angel absolutely handles Burdol there if he just stays in the fight. In the pit, it's 50-50. Heng, Xiaohao standing here, right ready to go for the smite bite. Elder Dragon low. It's going to be taken by Tangyuan. And now afterwards, it's going to be explosions left and right, but it's Lead that's trying to explode everyone. There's the Elder Dragon Burdol. It's going to be Tangyuan. That's the next focus. The burn, not enough to get Xiaohao. Burdol trying to kill ZDZ. They got the Elder Dragon, but they lost multiple bodies. It's a double kill coming through, though, for Burdol.
The minion execute. We flipped another objective, Mazel. Elder. It doesn't. How do we only have 21
it's
kills?
Group Nirvana, baby.
Yeah, this probably is going to be the longest game of the season so far. It might even be the longest game of the year. This is not very clean execution. I have no idea what Angel's ult is for there. Like, if you guys are going to fight this Elder, you have to try to actually chunk them down first, because the second that the Elder gets stolen, Like, I appreciate it from ZDZ. He pushes away the backline to try to make the secure easier, but it wasn't onto Tangyuan, who's, again, been the carry of this series so far for his team. I'm so distracted by the ghouls. I want to see it one more time. Look at this. One ghoul. That's tough.
Incredible. Can we just talk about how Tangyuan has not only secured the soul for his team, but also secured the Elder Dragon?
So 3 for 3 of Objective 2. Like 3 Elders for LGD, 3 Barons for EDG. The closest fight you could have possibly gotten over an Elder flip, which is insane.
Let's be real. I mean, the Elder Dragon has some power. It's got about a 40-second layover from the Baron buff here. They could get some of these inhibs open.
They definitely can. Genuine map control back. And because of the desync as well, the map control is important, you know? 3 minutes on the Baron, 4 minutes on this Elder. So there'll be genuine time where you can actually fight the Baron, not need to handshake it. But this is a long game. Like, the builds are completing. 80 carries are very close. That's a lot of damage.
And going to look at an hour on this one, unless LGD can make something happen here. An Elder is up for another 15 seconds just about. They need to do something now if it's going to happen or back off. They don't want to be caught with their hand in the cookie jar. 10 seconds out, and it will mean that the Elder Dragon will falter.
It's the last wave of Elder.
This is, but it's going to fall in the middle of the fight if they kick it off now. It is gone as tower does not fall. Siege incomplete from LGD.
All right. Well, anyone want to go get some snacks? We've got probably 2 minutes before the next fight. Insane that like this game has gone on this long. EDG had Baron and Elder and couldn't end, and then we got the handshake of... It's actually so funny. The minions were like, I'll do it myself. I'll take down this turret so you guys can get inhib later. Because EDG have not been doing a very good job of their macro of taking down turrets. And to be honest, neither has LGD. There's still a tier 2 in top for LGD, a tier 2 in bot for EDG. So both teams kind of just A-ramming it the entire game. And Tangyuan's still the only real lead of his team. But at 45 minutes, like 1k lead is barely anything. Once Leave gets this BT online, the full build for him. Still has that GA as well. And Angel... Rabadon's finished, so full build Rise.
Well, that's terrifying.
It's pretty scary.
It's not often you see a Rise get all the way to full build, but when you do, very scary. Very scary. And again,
So-
we're seeing some of the frustration that LGD's comp has versus a very, very scaled up comp from EDG.
So Leave is literally just not hitting the wave because he has to keep these guns. Again, another fight where at the end there, he didn't have great guns to continue the fight forward. And because the dragons, sorry, the objectives are so split up, it is really rough. So he's going to get rid of blue. Does Leave try to fully cycle through, or is he going to hold on to these two, try to play blue, red-white? Looks like he'll keep them for now. I think that's like a massive part of this game. If you have red-white, red-blue, green-white, anything like that, destruction from this late game of Felios. But if you have like purple-blue, purple-green at this point in the game, you do nothing compared to an Orianna Shockwave. So cycling these guns is super important. Obviously, getting the BT is too. Does he have it in base? He
can finish it. He
does.
Got the
Oh, it's
Storm Razor.
a Storm Razor. Okay. More crit.
A little bit of pop damage, too, on that first auto attack. Xiaoye playing within an inch of his life. Going to go for the calling on Angel, who pops his ghost to make sure he can get away from that one. Shaoye takes a hit from the shock blast there. Baron is started. It's going to be a side lane push. Burdol is taking it by himself as the Yorick. Will the Yorick finally find this value? They are keeping them at the at least edge of combat here, but Burdol actually pulled away now. And this is some indecision from LGD. Don't do it. Don't do it again. Not a third time.
They're holding space pretty well, Mazel. They're still faking here, and EDG aren't yet aware that the Baron is being done. Leave. Will get rid of white here. Also red pretty quickly. 6k on this Baron.
They're going to turn and burn. There comes the redemption. They got to stick with it. Stick in the pit. Do something here. As it's going to be the reluctance of EDG that pulls away, and the Baron goes over to LGD.
We've got to be careful. Leave is going to run out of guns soon. If he keeps using the turret of Chakram. But it might just be like, EDG give pressure.
Oh.
This is like a coach pause. This is the coach has run on stage, paused, and said, "Guys."
The dunny, right? Like.
Yeah. No one said, "Oh, we're back."
We're back. We're back.
And they're all dead, and we didn't remake, guys. What's gonna happen?
Look at ZDZ. Look at ZDZ. He is destroyed.
Oh man.
LGD win the series. I don't know what the hell just happened. I would love to get more information. That is devastating. The entirety of EDG is distraught.
LGD aren't even happy to win. They're just like, thank goodness.
2-0. Wow. Wow.
Look, we were talking about getting a 3-game series. That was as long as a 3-game series, and it was pretty action-packed, dramatic. What a tough loss for EDG, I have to say. Like that. That's
what happened.
Yeah, they obviously paused, thinking that there was something to happen, and because of the length, the referees were considering it, and then EDG get told, no, there was no bug. You have to play it out. You unpause into an ace.
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, give congratulations where it's due. LGD had a hell of a clutch fight in that last one. Like, the pause didn't affect, hopefully, that last fight because it was pretty clinical from LGD. I think Xiaoye stepping up like he did against like a 1v4 and being kind of the front line there, incredible. We actually saw Leave kind of miss position there and go a little bit too far forward, something that we were foreshadowing to going into the series. But for LGD, this is a massive moment. Not only did you just beat OMG, who had knocked you out last split for your first series coming in, but now you 2-0 EDG, go to 2-0 in your series, and now only have 3 series left, and you are sitting well above the rest of the competition now.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Tangyuan. What an amazing series from this player. Honestly, I would be happy to see player of the game, player of the series for this guy. Just an outstanding performance to pull not only your team in game 1 with the help of the rest of your teams, but in this game, it felt like in some fights by himself.
God, man. Yeah, honestly, some of those shockwaves, like, insane, but the Akali game too, like, man, I'm just still so flabbergasted from the moment. That's one of the strangest endings I've ever seen in the LPL, and I was giving myself unk status earlier, but I've been around for a little bit.
You were gonna say I've been around a long time.
Yeah, I was. Wow. Well, I think this means a lot for the group itself. If you don't mind, Ilya, can we bring up I don't know if we can actually, if it's possible. Can we bring up the L3s here, at least the one for EDG, and see what their next opponents are? I don't know if it works on this. It works on this one? Okay, cool. Just because I want to lay out. It's fine. Yeah, it's just for the content itself. Easy opponents, right? Like, for the most part, obviously TT has had a great start, but when you have Ultra Prime and OMG, that's some low-hanging fruit-ish that you could take, but after this, it's about the mental staying strong. Like, you got a fresh reset and try to come into those series, guns blazing, if you will.
Yeah, and the fact that both these teams are playing off against both Ultra Prime and Thundertalk, obviously it's a small group, it's a single round robin like you mentioned, but it's a massive series. Talking about earlier, LGD being able to win this 2-0 is massive for game score as well.
Yeah.
They'll just be even that harder to catch up by EDG, by other teams as well. If they, let's say if if Ultra Prime start winning series, if LNG, start coming into themselves, it's going to be really hard to catch LGD, who, can start to contest Thundertalk on the top side. That gold graph is insane.
Absolutely insane. Please, everybody screenshot that, post it on whatever socials, because that is one of the most ridiculous gold graphs of all time. It's also the longest game of the split by almost 3 minutes. 2 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably going to remain that for a bit. That was ridiculous. Yeah. Multiple, look at this. EDG had 3 Barons and an Elder, and they couldn't win the game. Their late game, obviously the comp was really good like we were talking about, but their late game decision making, not it.
100% KP there for Tangyuan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty impressive. Man, wow. What a game. What a doozy in Group Nirvana. We'll be getting some replays. I'm really curious at what replays they show. And
yeah,
the
pause was just to get through 50 minutes of replay.
Yeah, I really wish we would get an update. The thing is, I know the LPL, and because it's already done, there probably won't be an update. Maybe. Hopefully we get one, but
I'm sure we'll hear about it online.
Hopefully.
I'd be very interested to hear about it, know what happened there, because EDG, like you said, ZDZ did not look happy.
Yeah.
Did not look happy at all.
Yeah. But I guess when we're talking, I know we were highlighting Tangyuan, but looking at MVPs and player of the series, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Shaoye had a good game. I think Heng had a good game there, but I'm on the train of Tangyuan did so much work in this series, in this game as well. The only reason I think that it's hard in somewhat to give Tangyuan a player of the game for this one is because it went so long. If it was over a bit earlier, you could say easily Tangyuan just carried his team through. And I still think it's possible to make that argument. I will be making that argument. I would love to see Tangyuan in not only MVP for this game, but in the series as well. Before we go, I do want to say shout out to production Kai, shout out to our casters next who had to sit through a massive pause of a game that only went 2 games.
One of them's got to take a flight. So we'll be getting on the way. Hopefully we'll see the player of the game, player of the match, or player of the series in the break itself. But I just want to give a shout out to you, Jbetto. Thanks for joining me on a wild, wacky ride for the LGD 2-0 over EDG. We will have Yanni and Melvin coming in next for the next series. That should be a banger. Is NIP going to keep going strong? What does BLG look like now? We'll find out after this break.